Marty Smith from ESPN joins us. Marty, good morning, buddy.
Hey, boss. Good morning. I know you guys are good. I don't have to ask. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me this morning.
Thank you. You did it again, Marty. You got a hat that I want to have. Where'd you get this one?
A buddy of mine actually gave me this hat. My buddy Wynn. He bought a couple of them and had me in mind for one of them. I just love that concept that we spend a lot of time in this life worrying. And the scripture tells us not to do that, and it's the human condition to do that. And so I just think that concept of faith over fear is it's a really smart and succinct way to approach things. Because I worry too much about what? Stuff that doesn't matter.
You know what, Marty? I'm the same way, man. That's a great way to start the show. You know what I don't fear? After last Saturday, I don't fear a halftime deficit at Baton Rouge anymore because this A&M football team, I'm going to tell you, man, I'm watching the game happen, and the fan in me gets a little angry at halftime. I'm like, we're the better team. We're kicking their butts, but we're losing. Like, we're giving this game away. Man, they took that game from LSU in the third quarter.
Yeah, the second half performance. I mean, I said here last week that that's one of the hardest places to play in the world, and it is. And in that second half, it was such a complete performance and dominant performance by Texas A&M in all three phases. Cassius Howell was hell-bent for leather, unblockable, talking that smoke and backing it up. You're returning, kicks for touchdowns. You're moving the football down the field offensively. And, man, watching Marcel Reed use his legs to create throwing lanes Saturday night was impressive. I felt like that was a bit of an evolution for him. He was playing with incredible confidence. And in talking to McGee, who was down there with Marcel last week in College Station for a piece he did, seems like a confident young man. I've not met him yet. So very impressed with him, as you know. I just love his skill set. Obviously, fantastic history in the game, incredibly athletic family, and a great leader for that team. It looked like he was having so much fun in the second half, smiling with his guys, and they just seemed like they knew exactly what to do and how to execute at a very high level. Man, they're a problem. And I feel like it's a broken record, but kudos to Coach Elko and the staff. They are just doing a fantastic job of there's an expectation at Texas A&M. When you have those resources, when every year you have a top recruiting class, when you're doing well getting portal kids over, and then it always feels like something doesn't live up to that potential. And man, are they doing it this year in a league that is so hard, and there's so much parity in the league now. And nationally, for that matter, there's so much parity. So just an incredible job by everybody down there on that staff.
Marty, excuse the history lesson, but just I don't know how much you know about the Tommy Moffitt part of this story.
Oh, I do. I heard Coach Elko's comment.
Yeah. But I mean,
I heard his comment, and it's not he said it last year too.
Yeah.
So I do know the history of this, and I would imagine that there's some real validation for some people in those second half performances, which is often where the weight room really reveals itself, is those fourth quarter battles that are really physical. Who wins those? That's what Georgia, Alabama, that's what those schools pride themselves on in the Scott Cochran era, who was one of those foundational pieces in making the strength coach such an important, they've always been important, but now they're not just building physical strength, David. They're building emotional strength in these young men. They're a true conduit to the day-to-day experiences. Everybody's got stuff. All of us got stuff we're going through. And certainly 19 and 20-year-old young men who feel like they have the weight of entire fan bases and thereby the world on their shoulders are going through stuff. And these strength coaches hear it all. And they help walk these young men through it. And they're a great conduit to the head coach. Hey, this guy's going through this. That guy's going through that. His girlfriend, his parents. And so they're imperative in the overall paradigm of a program. And, I mean, Coach Moffitt's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Talking to Marty Smith here on TexAgs Live. Marty, last week, and even after the game, I'm watching this game happen. I'm thinking to myself, I don't think they can fire Brian Kelly because of what he's owed. But that game felt like a fireable game. And then they did it. Were you surprised by that?
Yes. I was surprised by it. And everything in this life is context. And he said he came there to win national championships. He left Notre Dame to go to Baton Rouge to win national championships. And his math was not easy because, as I'm sure you've already discussed this morning, Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Ed Orgeron all did it by their third season. And so that's difficult math. Like that is a very high expectation. And that is the expectation in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is we get the best players, we win national championships. And Coach Kelly was unable to make the playoff during his tenure in Baton Rouge. And then you see, for me, watching it very intently on Saturday night, seeing the sideline demeanor with certain players, the interaction with Garrett Nussmeier, all of those things started to give an indication that it felt like it had reached another level. But I'm in a world where we are fools to be surprised by anything. I was surprised.
So there's like 11 real big jobs open right now.
I don't know. I mean, I look at this, and I will tell you, I'm in the middle of texting people that I know well throughout the entire landscape, coast to coast, this morning. And the fact that there aren't just jobs open, these aren't just jobs. This is LSU, Florida, Penn State. We're talking about tradition. In fact, one of them is calling me right now. We're talking about traditional, powerhouse, well-heeled, great talent programs that are now in the job market, and really great brands who've been down on their luck. Like Arkansas is a great place. I'm a Virginia Tech guy. Virginia Tech's a great place. And they got to get these hires right. But the more that we see, and this is a conversation you and I can have right now, and your viewership and listenership, I would love to know what everybody, I feel like the more, because this isn't done. I don't know if diluted's the right word, but like there is a sense of urgency now for these programs to make these hires fast, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's great jobs open all over the country and coveted positions. So what do? Do you make the coordinator hire? Do you take one of these guys that's on the market that's proven or has done well elsewhere, that it didn't work at this place or that place? And I'm reading this morning just like you are. Everybody is throwing names out left and right. We don't know anything. So it's just, I wonder the why. Like, why are we here? And you figure it's this confluence of all of the NIL, all of the portal, 12-team playoff. The playoff has now become the goal. And yeah, you want to win natties, but the playoff. And when you have programs that have been built from the ground, like Indiana, like Vanderbilt, like Georgia Tech, and I mean the ground, bro. Competitive irrelevance to playoff contention in a couple years. There is no waiting. Patience is there is no patience.
Marty, it makes me think too. I did a few minutes on this earlier, that the old guard has not evolved with college football the way Lane Kiffin has evolved, right? So like Jimbo, Brian Kelly, Dabo, and there's others that like they were a few years ago, they were the brand names, but the game has passed them by. And I don't know if it's on the field completely. I think some of it is the off the field part of it that has then in turn affected the on the field part.
Lane Kiffin said something to me, David. I wrote a book a couple years ago, shameless plug, called Sideline CEO, and I interviewed all these coaches. I've probably talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
And Lane Kiffin was one of those coaches. And my criteria for interviewing these people was that they were champions. And, of course, Lane became a champion as Nick Saban's OC, right? And he's such a fascinating mind that I wanted his wisdom in this book. And with every coach that I talked to, the number one thing, they told me the number one pillar in leadership is trust. You know what Lane Kiffin told me?
What's that?
It's talent. And he said, talent is what separates. And then once you are able to accrue it, trust comes with time. Look at Matt Corral. Look at Jackson Dart. Lane is so relatable to these young men. They don't just see an authority figure. They see a brother. They see somebody who they can cut up with. And they also see somebody, for quarterbacks specifically, who is such an offensive savant that they believe, they know he's going to put them in a position to be successful. Whether that you even look at, this is an aside, I'm sorry, this is the attention deficit part of my life. Austin Simmons had a touchdown, he just missed the throw. Like Lane Kiffin puts him in the game, I think it was second and goal, might have been first and goal, whatever it was. They run RPO, defense collapses, he just happened to miss the throw. But it was the perfect play call. And so these young men know this. And I found that to be a fascinating answer by him. And so guys that you mentioned that previously, they want developmental programs, which I, as a man and a father, admire. Today's college football is transactional. It's transactional. It's pay for play. And so that's that patience piece of it. You have to develop them so fast within the system that you want to run. And that is a hard thing to do, man. Again, it's why, like, Coach Elko is so no BS. He is so direct and doesn't seem to do this. He seems to just do this. They have a plan. He's hired great coordinators. He lets those coordinators do his job. He delegates to them. And it's just really, and he has talent. Crazy talent everywhere. Look how great y'all did in the portal. It could be argued, I mean, the quarterback at Indiana is doing really well. He may be in New York. But you'd be hard-pressed to find two guys better than KC and Mario in terms of their contribution in 2025 to the overall scope of a team. And so just incredibly impressive in today's world.
Marty, I'll even take that a step further. The last 2 years, Cassius Howell, a transfer. Armaje Reed Adams on the offensive line, a transfer. Nate Borkature is a name that maybe a lot of people nationally don't know. The tight end who caught the game-winning pass against Notre Dame, right? Like he came from Nebraska, a guy that didn't have a lot of
who was considered a blocker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, like, it's not just getting talent, and I agree with Lane. It is about talent, but getting the right talent that fits your system, and that's what I think has been impressive about Coach Elko.
Yeah. Oh, me too. And you guys live Texas A&M athletics. I follow it closely enough because of the SEC piece. I think that if I'm wrong, I would love to know when he had a better game. I feel like Saturday night was Hal's like Hello America party. I feel like he really announced himself to the country. You're talking about prime time, huge brands, undefeated team. Even before he got fired, Brian Kelly's name was, kind of being floated out there. And so to have that kind of performance where like literally unblockable all night long, wreaking so much havoc, he flew off the screen, man.
He did, man. And he's and that video of him just chomping at the bit after that first sack.
Just talking it.
Yeah.
That's going to be his, like if this team goes on to have that uber special season that certainly looks plausible and attainable at this point, that moment is going to live forever in College Station, Texas for Aggies, because it's just it embodies that we aren't going to be denied type of personality. And man, just an immeasurably great performance.
Marty, before I let you go, look, a lot of this stuff is going to sort itself out. But there's a lot of teams that have one loss. There's some undefeated teams in the SEC, right? Like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, there's going to be some carnage, right? Georgia's going to play Texas, and Vandy plays Texas this weekend. And, I guess there's some teams theoretically, mathematically still that can get in. But, like, I look at Tennessee. I think Ole Miss is a slam dunk for the playoffs. How many freaking teams are going to make the playoffs from the SEC, knowing that 4, maybe 5 is the most? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right on it. Now there are some really tough games ahead for some really good teams, and people can stub their toe and maybe not have the performance that they expected to have, or another team plays perfectly in all 3 phases, whatever that is. But we also have to remember that a lot of teams are beat up. And so are you going to be able to put it together every single Saturday to achieve that? But I mean, Vanderbilt, this weekend's not going to be easy. Like, it's not. We'll be there for SEC Nation and Marty McGee. I look forward to seeing that one. It's going to be super intense. Vandy still has to go to Neyland Stadium on Thanksgiving weekend, right? That Tennessee is good, dude. I mean, their offense is prolific. And so those are hard. Like, there's a lot of very difficult matchups ahead for a lot of these teams. And so, yeah, I mean, 4 would be a great statement for the league.
Marty, what's the latest with the podcast? Never Settle.
We're actually kind of relaunching it a little bit here. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson and I are in the workings now of relaunching it, and we have great guests already in the can. And look forward. We have a lot of guests coming up. Some famous people, some very acclaimed athletes, and so we're really bullish on where it's going. So it's called Never Settle. Y'all check it out, and we'll have a lot more information here coming very soon.
Marty, I appreciate you, sir. Talk to you next week.
Always. Thank you, guys. Have a great week.